evening and welcome to the Financial Bulletin. U.S. stocks opened higher as signs of progress in Ukraine-Russia peace talks lifted sentiments ahead of a widely expected interest rate hike by the Federal Reserve. The global mood was also lifted by China's promise to roll out more stimulus for the economy and keep markets stable, fueling a rally in U.S.-listed Chinese shares. The Fed is seen raising interest rates by at least 25 basis points at the end of its two-day meeting later today. Data showed U.S. retail sales rose moderately in February as more expensive gasoline and food forced households to cut back spending on other goods. Meanwhile, merchandise made by Chinese sportswear firm Li Ning has been held at U.S. ports since Monday. And this came after a probe found North Korean labor in the company's supply chain, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. U.S. laws prohibit the entry of merchandise involving North Korean labor anywhere in the world, unless evidence is provided that such goods are not made with forced labor. Li Ning was required to provide evidence within 30 days, or the goods can be seized and forfeited. Earlier this month, Norway's sovereign wealth fund worth $1.3 trillion said it had excluded Li Ning due to the unacceptable risk the company was contributing to human rights abuses in Xinjiang. Meanwhile, nickel fell below the 5% limit down after trading resumed on the London Metal Exchange and was promptly suspended. There were slightly over 200 lots or 1,240 tons of nickel changing hands before the LME stopped trading again to investigate a potential technical issue with its limit down band. On March 8th, the LME canceled all nickel transactions that had taken place and halted trading until yesterday. This came after prices briefly topped the $100,000 mark, with brokers struggling to pay margin calls. It's unclear when trading will resume. And that's our financial bulletin. Thank you for watching. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Chief Executive Carrie Lam said Hong Kong's coronavirus figures peaked at the beginning of March, but have now plateaued. She stressed, however, there is no room for complacency. This as the government decided to close off all beaches. Sharon Tang reports.
I'm not a doctor, so I don't know, but it is a bit sad because the weather is getting better and this is the perfect time for a beach. I think outdoor might be okay, and I'm vaccinated, so it's okay.
With tens of thousands of new cases each day, a second batch of mainland medics have arrived in Hong Kong, Kevlon reports. Hong Kong today logged more than 29,000 new COVID cases as the death toll climbed again. Another 278 coronavirus-related deaths were registered. But that's the start of another nightmare. Madame Kong's daughter said her bedridden mother hadn't taken one shower for the past month. The mainland today reported more than 3,000 new COVID infections. Jilin province remains hard hit. And it's just in, a strong earthquake jolted Japan's northeast coast on Wednesday, shaking buildings and triggering a tsunami warning. It is in the same area that was devastated in March 2011. Delegations that include the prime ministers of Poland, the Czech Republic, and Slovenia have safely arrived in Poland after a visit to Ukraine. The leaders of 3 EU countries visited Kyiv yesterday in a bold show of support, James Aiken reports. North Korea fired an unknown projectile, which apparently failed immediately after launch, according to the South Korean military. Over to sports in the NHL, a Russian offensive display in the American capital. Nazani Zaghari Ratcliffe, a British-Iranian dual national detained in Iran for nearly 6 years, has left the country. U.S. President Joe Biden will visit Europe next week to attend a NATO leaders meeting in Brussels. NATO is set to tell military commanders to draw up new plans to deter Russia from future land grabs in Europe and beyond. Matthew Bray reports. That's the news for tonight. Thank you for watching.